Hey, how are you doing today?
Hey. Justin here with Image in a Box.
Michelle as well.
I've got my coffee. I'm ready. What are we talking about today, Michelle?
Well, today we're going to, I know the last couple weeks we've been talking about Google Analytics and other analytical tools as well, but today we're going to dive a little more specifically into Google Analytics to give you a better understanding of what that tool can offer you. So let's just first make sure that you can hear us out there, and then we will dive right in.
Yep, so I'm going to check. It looks like the video feed might be a little blurry, so I'm going to check the camera real quick.
Okay, do that.
All right, so I think I got the camera set, so that it was a weird focus there. I apologize for that. So, we're going to talk about Google Analytics. It's one of my favorite topics. I love analytics. Data.
All right, I'm not seeing the little comments though. I'm not seeing the comments.
Okay.
Like,
Not coming in yet from you?
No, I'm saying I just need you to make sure I've got it set up right here. I just want to make sure that I can catch you guys. So sorry. Technical difficulties on a rainy Thursday.
Yeah, so that's it right there.
Right.
Hang on. We're working through this. Every time it's different. We'll get there. We'll blame the rain on this.
And the Facebook Live always changing. They just pushed out like some new stuff as well. So.
Oh man.
All right. Well, if it's not working, then can you just post the comments because you're able to see them?
Yes, I can.
All right. So let's just double check to make sure that you can see.
Technology, it happens.
Yeah.
All right. So, as Michelle said, we're going to cover and we're going to walk you through basically what Google Analytics is.
Yeah, so first let's talk about Google Analytics, what it is, and then sort of how much it costs, because I'm sure that's a big key thing for you guys.
Yeah, we as business owners, you never want to keep adding more cost in,
Right.
right? And so Google Analytics is a marketing analytical platform. It can be used to track websites and apps, like your mobile applications as well. So the kind of information you can get from it, excuse me, is what visitors are doing on your website, where visitors are coming from, what pages they're looking at, even geographical information. Excuse me. And you can also see conversion data, those kind of things as well. What people are converting on, and even like maybe what pages they're converting on as well. So the more important question in there was, what does it cost? And one of the beautiful things of Google Analytics is it's free. There's no cost to it.
No. That's pretty cool.
There is, oh my gosh, my voice just went out. There is no cost to it. There is a paid version, but we're going to focus on the free version.
Okay.
I like free tools.
Yeah,
What about you?
Me too. Me too. That
All right.
sounds good.
So with that, it's pretty simple to get set up.
Okay. So how do you get access to it?
All right, so you need a Google Analytics account. If you don't have one, you can go create one. They're free. And then you can go to Google Analytics website. It's on google.com/analytics.
Okay.
We'll post that in the comments here in a second.
Okay.
With that, it will ask you a couple questions if you're new to Google Analytics, okay? If you don't have a Google Analytics account set up yet, it will walk you through the steps.
Okay, so am I talking like what's my time commitment for that? What are you talking about?
Oh, I'd say less than 10 minutes probably.
Okay,
Probably
good.
5. You know, it's
Okay.
just a couple clicks, reading a couple disclaimers, and getting it. That is for people who don't have Google Analytics already. If you
Okay.
already have Google Analytics, it will redirect you to your analytics property. And
Oh,
you'll
okay.
see the dashboard right away.
Okay. So maybe I had an account set up ages ago and I forgot about it or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe my web developer set it up for me and I haven't ever accessed it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing you bring up. I didn't think about that. If you had your website built by somebody else and you didn't have an internal team build it, reach out to them first if Google is asking you to create a new analytical platform.
Okay.
One of the very important notes is once you create your Google Analytics account, that's when the tracking will start recording, is when you get that tracking code installed.
Okay.
But if somebody else built your website, it's probably already on there and you've got a lot of historical data that you might
Okay.
not know.
So check with your web developer first to make sure that you don't already have an account if you don't think you have one, and then set it up in 10 minutes or less
Yeah.
with the link that you're going to put in for them right
Yeah,
now.
I dropped it in
Okay.
in the chat there. Another good thing is you want to make sure it's tracking properly.
Okay.
Now, to ensure that it's tracking properly, we have a great resource to help you with that. You just can sign up for our 9-day training course,
Okay.
and very easy to do that. All you have to do is text from your phone demo to 256-488-1234. Again, that number is 256-488-1234. I'll post it in the comments.
So by doing that, so does that cost?
No, that's we're
Okay.
going to send you 9 texts over 9 days, 1 text a day, and it's going to walk you through Google Analytics from the beginnings.
Okay, and then what will you get, like the person listening to us out there, why would they want to sign up in relation to what you're talking about? So you're gonna help them set it up?
Yeah, we're going to help you get the account set up. We're going to go over some terms,
Okay.
and then we're also going to show you how to validate that the tracking code is installed. That's
Oh,
more
okay.
important because you've got to make sure you do the steps to get the tracking code installed. Because if not, you just created a Google Analytics account and it's going to do nothing. It's going to show
Okay,
zeros.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then is the setup the same on all the different website platforms, or like all the different systems that you may use for, the website that you're editing?
Great question. When we say website platforms, we're talking WordPress is a content management system. That's a platform. Or you might be on Wix or Squarespace, or even some other website builder. That texting course will actually give you some great resources on how to get Google Analytics installed in those specifically. Because
Okay.
each platform is different, as we know, just like Facebook versus Google. Everything's different. That texting course that you can get will walk you through how to get it installed, and then also the resources for those specific platforms as well.
Oh, okay, so that sounds really useful. So then, I know you touched briefly at the beginning about some of the things that would make you want to use Google Analytics, but we mentioned that we were going to dive a little bit more specifically into those. So could you give us a little bit more information about, what kind of information that you would receive from the platform about website visitors?
Yeah. So you would see visitors. What's a visitor? That's a user coming to your website.
So some particular person coming to your website.
All right. You can actually see what devices those users are using.
Oh, okay.
Is it a mobile device?
Okay.
Is it a tablet or is it a desktop? All right. You could see where they are geographically. You're not going to get like a very creepy pinpoint. You're going to get a geographical region. Like we're in Huntsville, Alabama, so you would get like a radius around Huntsville.
Okay.
All right. You could also get what sources they're coming from.
So what do you mean by that?
Oh, what are sources? So sources, we've talked about it a couple times in the other videos, but sources are email, paid search, Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing, those kind of things. Basically, what is driving traffic to your website?
Okay.
That's what we call sources in the analytic world. So what are your inbound sources from there?
Okay. All right.
So, and then you also have direct as another source as well. But you can see which channel is performing better, which ones are actually driving the lowest bounce rate. So that means users are doing more on your site. which ones are driving the highest amount of conversions. Then you can
Okay.
dive in from there.
So what kind of information then? So you talked about the sources, or you could call them the channels as well. But you have these channels driving traffic to the site. So then like after I know what's driving them, what else could I learn about those particular people? So say I want to know like how people coming to my site from email marketing, like what would I learn around that?
Yeah, so you could filter down to the email channel, and then you could see what pages those people are looking at.
Okay.
So typically in your email marketing, you always want to drive people to do something.
Okay.
That's what we're going to call a conversion.
Right.
We want them to complete an action. You should always want them to complete an action on your website.
Right.
Okay.
And if you're not, then you need to plan that when you're sending emails.
Yes. So again, make your email pertinent.
Have a purpose.
Right. With that, so we're going to dive into our sources of email. We're going to see what pages they're looking at. Well, maybe your email drove them to an about page or a donation page if you're a nonprofit.
Okay.
What are they doing? Are they actually completing the form? Are they leaving? Are they clicking to other pages? Because maybe they're trying to do more research on you.
Okay.
That kind of information can help you understand, hey, this page is working or is not working.
So that's really useful because with your email, you can only see, that people clicked on certain links and which ones that they clicked on in the emails, but you wouldn't necessarily see what they did after they left your email platform if you're just looking at your email metrics. And then the same thing with Facebook, I'm assuming. So like we've talked about in the past that you don't want to just look up at your Facebook insights only. And if you hadn't catch that live, it's a few weeks back, so you can scroll down on our page and view that one later. But your insights aren't, going to give you as much information about once they leave
Right.
the Facebook platform.
Correct.
So how do you learn about what these people are doing? And that sounds like it could be really useful for understanding how well your landing pages are performing, or how well certain pieces of content are performing, or the purpose of your email. So you send out an email with a goal
Right.
and a purpose, but no one was doing that one thing that you were trying to get them to do. They were doing something else, so it makes you sort of rethink what
Yep.
you were doing.
And then even from a search engine optimization, everybody loves SEO. You could see how those results are doing by the people landing on your page from organic search.
Okay.
Then you could say, hey, we need to change this page around because we got a 100% bounce rate. Maybe the keywords it's ranking for aren't as good for what you're trying to do on that page. So then you
Okay.
could readjust the content to try to do more effort for that page specifically.
Okay.
Ron, I saw your question. Facebook will be recording this, so you can play it back because I know you're in a meeting.
Okay, yes.
But I think our live would be more fun than your meeting.
Yes, you can catch the recording afterwards. It will stay on our page, so be sure to come back if you have to leave and you want to continue learning more about Google Analytics with us today. And you can always comment with questions or message us through the message bot throughout the day or anytime, and we can get back with you.
Yep. So we talked a little bit about what sources and what you can get from that.
Okay.
Another great piece of information is looking at conversion data.
Okay, so when you say conversion, could you back us up just a little bit and tell you out there what sort of conversion, what that might mean for a person that has a website?
Yeah, so a conversion is somebody performing an action on your website. That might be a form submission from an e-commerce standpoint. It might be a checkout.
Okay.
It might even just be sharing your article. A lot of websites do the share. That could be a conversion for you. Again, it goes back to your marketing goals.
Well, what about if I just wanted them to read an article that I'm promoting? So say I'm doing a social post and I want them to actually just read the content.
Yeah.
Is that an option?
Yes. So you could do time on site is your
Okay.
goal, right? And that would be the goal, is that you want them to spend at least this long on your page. So
Okay.
get an idea of how long that article takes.
Okay.
And then you could set that as your goal in Google Analytics. Then you could see all your blogs, all your posts, how are they converting
Okay.
from that standpoint.
Awesome. So then I know you mentioned that we could be sort of like stalkers of our competitors. So
Oh yeah.
how can we learn about our competitors through Google Analytics? That seems a little interesting.
So I'm going to back up a little bit. When you create your account, you might have saw the question of industry.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you've had your Google Analytics account for a long time, you can go into the admin screen and see what industry you set. That, and there's an option right below it, is do you want to participate in the benchmarking data?
Okay.
All right. So the benchmarking just shares some information about your analytics to the Google realm of other people in the benchmarking item within Google Analytics. When you do that, though, you get access to the benchmarking data.
So a little give and get.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, you can then say, okay, I can select the amount of traffic. So they have an option called size. And when you select your size, it's based on the size of traffic you get, not the size of your company. Again, that's always a misconception is people are like,
Oh, okay.
all right, so you want to select it to basically get a benchmark around maybe exactly what you're doing or maybe one level up because you want to try to achieve that much
Like
traffic.
growing to the next tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can give you information about what other people, we'll call competitors, in your industry are doing, sources wise. What channels for them collectively are driving. So you
Okay,
can
so
compare
that's sort of
your
interesting.
data. You can compare your data to their data.
Okay.
And a great use case is, hey, are they doing more email marketing or are they doing paid? Am I not doing some source of traffic that they are?
Okay, so it's sort of like a market research. You could do some opportunity and threat analysis, going old school.
Oh, she threw out SWOT, everybody.
But like you can see where there might be opportunity. So if you looked at your emails or you looked at the email section and that showed that you had 0 website traffic from email and the people in your industry in this benchmarking report had thousands, then that might make you reconsider your email marketing strategy because maybe you thought your customers wouldn't engage with email marketing. So sort of interesting because it's like an opportunity that you didn't realize or like a threat as far as, they've got a lot of ads running. How can you get the budget so that you can also do ads because maybe they were getting like tons of traffic. So that's pretty interesting.
It's a good little bit of information, but again, you've got to take it with a grain of salt. Is that not all your competitors will be in the same data, but
Okay.
it's still
And
great
is it
research.
like a nationwide or is it like how do you if I wanted to compare it with people in your state or city, like how granular can you get with that?
So when the last time I looked at it, you couldn't get down to city level.
Okay.
You can get to state, you can get to
Okay.
country, and those kind of things.
So you can get to a pretty good geographical location then.
And what I've seen is if you filter down too far, sometimes you won't get any data. So it's good to keep it more broad from that standpoint.
Okay.
So just be wary if you change some setting to filter it down to, say, Alabama, and you get zeros, well, okay, not enough people are reporting from Alabama.
Okay. Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah, so it's good from that standpoint.
So then another area that I think is really interesting for you out there is the interest data and the demographic stuff as well. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the interest data is a great way to do market research on your visitors. Basically, Google will let you know, because of cross data sharing, what they're interested in.
Okay.
So one of our clients we were doing some market research for, and it was like mind-opening that this amount of users love pets. Their interest in animals. All
so
right?
that's the kind of information you're getting.
Yeah, and so there's 3 different areas of audience interest that you can get from it. One of those is what they're interested in. There's another one where what do they consider buying, and then there's a third. I don't remember the third off the top of my head. But those areas can give you great insight on what kind of imagery or what kind of events maybe to hold.
So yeah, if they were pet lovers, then you might want to host an event here locally with a new leash or something like that.
Yeah.
because you might want to co-host an event because that's going to draw some of your target people in. So that sounds like that would be good for persona research or audience, basically like trying to figure out more about your audience so that you can reach them better.
Yeah, it's, again, more data, you can make better informed decisions.
And then what demographic information does it provide?
So demographics, you can get age, gender, okay? And I think those are the only two right now that you can get.
Okay.
That, again, goes back to your persona development, that you can then say, hey, we hit a lot more males or we hit more females.
Okay.
That information can be used in your imagery, again, how to attract the right user and right visitor to your website.
Okay. So I know in this particular section, we've talked a lot about like some key terms of Google Analytics that might be a little confusing to you out there. So I did want to bring up that texting course again, that provides a way for you to go from not really understanding Google Analytics reporting. So maybe you're somewhat familiar, you've looked at the reports, but you haven't necessarily, you don't feel like you're getting useful information from the reports because you feel a little overwhelmed when you look at them. So you're going to want to take this course. It's free, and it is, if you text demo to, what's the phone number again?
256-488-1234.
And did you put that out in the comments?
Yeah, it's in the comments.
Okay. All right. So check it in the comments if you need, to reference it. But basically, that course is going to go over as well, like these key terms to know around Google Analytics, and then also it'll go over all of those basic high-level reports in Google Analytics. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It will navigate them with real data, so you're not just like, oh, he's talking. No, we're actually walking you through how to use the report.
So it gets you past. So if you just set an account up and you have no data, then you can still
see data, and then we also show you how to get access to a demo account to see and play with real live data.
Okay, so that makes it even more useful, so that you can actually, it's not just like a paperweight when you get the different
right.
videos.
Or you're not waiting for a long time.
And then time commitment wise, it's, I think everything's less than 10 minutes a day. So
yeah, it's really easy to get installed. Again, you want to make sure it's installed correctly.
Okay.
And that course walks you through that as well.
Okay. So let's check any other questions coming through.
Yeah, let us know if you have a question.
Do you see any more?
I got a question for you, Michelle.
Okay. What's the question?
So we sort of talked about what kind of information you can get out of Google Analytics. Can you give me a scenario of like how you would use that information besides, I know we talked a little bit about some from our persona development.
Well, so with Google Analytics, you're going to get a lot of useful information about, how your landing pages might be performing. So you can look at specific pages and see, how well they're performing from a conversion standpoint, or just from like a time on site. If you don't have conversion set up, which is something that you definitely need to do, and we'll talk more specifically about that at some point in the future here, but basically setting up conversions will allow you to make sure that your website is in line with what you're trying to do. And then it goes back to that good statement we've talked about all the other lives, and we're getting here again, is that you have to have goals. And if you don't have goals, then you're not going to be able to determine the return on investment or anything of that sort, because what are you investing for?
Right.
And so you need to know where you're wanting to drive emphasis, and once you figure that out by setting goals, then you can map those goals into metrics that you can monitor with Google Analytics. And then once you set those up, then you can easily go into Google Analytics and look through the reporting, especially just specifically around conversions. You don't even have to look at all the other data. You can go to one specific report and see, wow, social media is driving tons of conversions around this one specific goal that I'm in charge of, producing efforts around. So you can get that granular and only have to look at that one report. Yep. So
again, saving time.
Yeah.
Get the data you need when you need it. Make informed decisions off of it.
Yeah. And so it all goes back to the goals, and it all goes back to, getting that set up and then monitoring it to see what's working, what's not.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Well, I think that's our section for the day.
Yeah, and just wanted to give you the heads up that next week we'll be going live again at the same time and place, and we're going to be talking about finding what marketing channels drive conversions with Google Analytics. So just like I was saying, we will be talking more specifically about the conversion stuff next week. So please tune in.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a great
Bye.
day.